Hey guys, and welcome to Sounds Like NYC, episode 47. So, my next guest is a musician from Yonkers, New York. As a self-proclaimed extremist in expression, she doesn't just make music, but also works in film, dances, and paints, all in order to best communicate her thoughts and her emotions. Her latest EP, Lo Lamento, is out now, and you can find her on Instagram at Lola Menthol. Please welcome Lola Menthol. Yeah,
Yeah, Lola Menthol.
awesome.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
So,
What was your
uh,
name?
Daniel, yeah.
Daniel, hi.
Yeah, you've probably been talking with like David up until this point. So like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm like a new
Yeah.
face, but yeah. But yeah, it's like awesome to meet you. So, I guess how long have you been a like creative for, I guess? Like when did your creative journey begin?
Ooh. As long as I could have possibly like done anything, maybe like
Okay.
3. It's
Yeah.
like yeah, it's like writing,
Yeah.
and then I tied that to music when I got my first guitar at 8. So it's
Okay, cool.
music since 8, and then like poems and stuff ever since I could write.
Nice. Are your parents musicians, or was there like some like figure in your life that like directly influenced you, or
No, not really. I was around a lot of music. They listened to a lot of music, but my dad's an architect,
dude, that's so
and
cool.
my
Yeah.
yeah, but no one really played music themselves.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Actually, the high school that I went to, I don't know if you're familiar with like Williamsburg.
Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Not particularly.
Not really? Okay, but I actually went to a high school for like architecture.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cool. How
Yeah.
was that?
I mean, by the time I like entered high school, I like wanted I like already wanted to do music, so like it was kind of like a drag for like the first year and a half. But I
Right.
ended up really liking it, and just like you, I guess I can appreciate kind of like art in like all its different forms and like
Exactly.
whatever. So like I guess my time there really taught me to kind of like appreciate different like art forms and stuff like that. But like I do love architecture and like design and stuff like that too. So like
Absolutely. And I feel like architecture makes you see space differently.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
I would definitely get into studying it more,
Yeah.
just to know.
Have you graduated or like?
No, I actually dropped out a couple times, 3 times to be
Nice.
exact.
You made the
Yeah.
smart. You made a smart decision.
I had to. It was just
How
not
come?
working.
Like, what was the story behind dropping out twice? That's like pretty impressive. Yeah.
Twice and then 3 times. Yeah. The first time, this is actually quite hard to remember. It's like it blurs together all the different times, but I'm pretty sure that I was just hopping around a lot of different majors and then getting
Okay.
into too
Yeah.
many different things. Because I refused to do art. Like I refused to.
Really?
Yeah, because I felt like if someone was gonna tell me how to do it, it was gonna like take something away. Like I didn't really want that. I took dance classes, I took like
Yeah.
photography, I took
Yeah.
drawing classes, but then they started to feel like more technical than expressive, and
Uh-huh.
that's what I was using it for.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I was like, nah. But I appreciate the dance classes, like because I feel like that is helpful. So that because right now I'm in a loop, I haven't taken a class in a while, and like now I'm doing the same thing over and over. So it's gonna take an external thing to
Yeah.
get me out of that, or like add some bodily vocabulary.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I'm not opposed. Like I'm all for like education. Like
Uh-huh.
I would teach myself. Like I would love, but I guess in that form, like that system,
Mm-hmm.
it's not quite motivating, I guess,
Yeah. No, definitely.
especially for artists.
Yeah, like I feel definitely just like probably in the next 5-10 years that like I guess online school, I mean,
It's
this whole
happening now.
situation, yeah, I don't mean to like bring it back, but like it is like the biggest news of like
Mm-hmm.
the decade so far. So
Yeah.
just like I really think that like in the future kind of like self-teaching and online courses are going to become more of the norm, because no one wants to spend like 20K a year on school, and it's just
Right.
like so like it's just
Yeah,
money,
it's like
It's like,
contributing to the rent and then the
yeah,
salaries and then all the other
yeah,
stuff that we don't really know what's going
yeah,
on there. But
yeah. But
totally
like,
agree.
yeah, but it's kind of funny that you like mentioned kind of like this idea of being stifled by like actual education and just like learning art. Because you probably know this too, but kind of like musicians, there's like a certain mindset with like learning music theory will like hinder your creativity. But the I see it just like learning the science behind things makes you. I'm not saying you're like wrong for going down the path you did, because I do understand it's like a case by case, a person by person thing. But it's just kind of funny. I didn't know that was like also a train of thought within kind of like the art world, which or like certain people have that like train of thought where they feel like kind of like education and like art can like kind of like stifle their creativity. So like, yeah.
If someone was able to grasp the ideas of like music theory and like the technical and the numeric aspects of music and art and things like that, because it's totally equal, like there's science in it, but I guess for me it just wasn't how I wanted to approach my work. But it's helpful for sure, like to know what you're doing, like what's behind it. And you could also add, like, since I did this, scientifically it would make sense to like also do this.
Exactly.
But for me it's more of a feeling than thinking.
And I definitely get that. I definitely get that. It's just like a case, and I feel like it's really cool with like people like you, because it all depends on the person, where like, because like you could like constantly feel yourself off of kind of like a certain intuitiveness. But like I feel like I've kind of like exhausted that like part in my own music and stuff like that. So now I'm like studying music theory more and kind of like refreshing myself, because I did study kind of like that kind of stuff in like school. But like, it's just crazy. Everybody has like a different
approach.
Has like a different approach. But that's
depending on like the intention or what art means for them. And for me it's always been like a way for me to communicate.
Exactly. So like kind of like two of the tracks off your new album, off your new release, are Don't Go and Friends Can Break Your Heart Too, which is like very like I feel like that like title is kind of like not passive aggressive, but like, so I have a song too that kind of like deals with that. It's like friendship is more important than Japanese, and like it's like a whole situation I can like explain. But like,
I would like,
I mean, you explain first, just like kind of like Don't Go and like Friends Can like Break Your Heart. Like, what's like the background behind those two songs, if you don't mind?
So Don't Go actually is a music video that I just released this morning, but it's not on the EP. But after like listening to it and watching the video, I was like, yo, I should have put this on the EP. So that's like one of my regrets in this process. So it's actually not on the EP, but it belongs there, I feel like. But it's not. But Don't Go was a song that I wrote when I was living in Maine. I was actually living in Maine for a little bit. And the featured artist, he's from Vancouver. So we were just like remotely creating together, and that was really cool. And I met him the first time I did a show in Vancouver.
Cool.
That's how we connected. And then the next time I went back there, we shot the music video, and so now here we are with all of that. And I don't know, I didn't know what to call it, so I just called it that. It just it was one of those things where I didn't really like know.
Do you think it might have been kind of like you saying to him "Don't go" because I assume he's still kind of like in Canada or like Maine and like Yonkers? Do you think that had anything to do with it, maybe, or like?
It's possible. I mean, not in regards to him, because I went there and then I'm the one that left. So I came to New York, so maybe I was channeling like his thoughts.
Exactly, something like that.
Something like that.
But do the lyrics deal with like kind of like those sort of things, or do you think they deal specifically with that sort of situation? Or
if you look at it in that way, like if you want to apply like "Don't Go" to the words, so the hook goes, I just need a break right now, what do you need from me now? And I guess it's kind of him like trying to push me away, something like that, like along the storyline of that. And I guess I could be the character that's like, oh, like, where are you going? Don't go. I know, like, I'm messy and shit, but like, don't.
Okay, I get it.
It could work that way.
So like, So the one that I'm more interested in is kind of like friends can break your heart too. So like, cause I'm dealing with a situation like that right now, actually.
Yeah.
So like, what's like your like, what's like your story behind that?
So I wrote that song. It was more general. I was going through a place in a romantic way, like a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was listening to it over, and I was like, this also applies to like other stuff too. And I could like see the lyrics being relevant to my friendships, like my platonic relationships too. So
Mm-hmm.
when we think about like broken heart, we're always gonna go back to like, oh, someone that you were romantically involved with broke your heart, right? So I thought like, yeah, but when I think of being hurt, I also think about friends. I also think about family. I also like there's more than just there's more than just love or like romance.
Yeah, romantic. Yeah.
So I decided to call it that because just to bring more awareness to that fact, like it's probably more likely too because you have probably more friends at one time than romantic partners.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely 110%. And like I've been learning kind of like let things go. I mean, if it's like, cause like I found solace or like peace in just like knowing that I always tried my best up until the bitter end, and like, I don't have any like, how do you say, I don't have anything left to say maybe, or like I know I tried my best, and like it's obvious this person maybe thought they did too, but like maybe they actually didn't. But just like knowing that, having that like self peace or self satisfaction that that you did your best, and just to move on, that's like the only thing you can do, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's just normal and natural to outgrow people, outgrow friends, situations, relationships. It's like inevitable to some degree. But for me looking back, it's kind of like the patterns. I got just watching how people treat you. I think that's also a message that I wanted to put out with that song. Just like, watch out who you're spending most of your time with.
Exactly.
Like how they're affecting you in your life, your behavior, like the way that you think about yourself, about the world. It's like those are the most influential people.
Yeah.
Like you're the average of the 5 people that you spend your time with.
Yeah.
Type shit.
Ooh, yeah. I never heard that before, but that does make sense,
Yeah.
Oh God, that's then like. No, I'm just thinking about like I'm just like kind of like self-reflecting about that, because like I've just been at home with my family, and it's not like I don't love my family. I'm getting too much to myself, but like that's like the first time I was just having
it's
like
totally a thing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We're social creatures. It's like we absorb.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. Yeah. I mean,
like,
you like said it, but like. Yeah.
like there's a lingo, if there's like a saying or a phrase that someone around you says a lot, you're gonna wind up saying it without even thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
So imagine that, but like behaviors, attitudes, like addictions, like go on and on about like how these people around you. Just 5. Just takes 5.
Yeah, definitely.
It takes a village to raise a child. I go on and on about this shit.
Yeah. So like for like friends can break your heart too. Do you want to release kind of like a music video about that?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. It's weird that you picked like that one because totally.
I mean, like if you're trying to go for like a more cinematic kind of like music video, it like writes itself basically. So like
100%. I just kind of have to like do the work or like be the body that it writes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's the next project.
Yeah. So with like the different mediums that you have for like self-expression, is it just like, do you like purposefully have like an idea and then think about which medium you could like best express that idea through, or is it just kind of like spur of the moment, kind of like leave it up to like intuition and like,
I like that question. It's a good question because I don't really have an answer. I think it's like what I feel. I think it's spur of the moment intuition kind of thing. Either that or like the feeling tells me that it wants to be like a painting or a song, or like it wants like me to move with it.
Yeah.
So I guess intuition, the latter.
Intuition?
Yeah, whatever it like feels like coming out as. Like lately I'm probably gonna, I feel like painting. Like I feel like I need to like express visually, like in illustration. And that's like it's like a cycle. But I try to keep up with them. It's like having like kids or something. Like you gotta like tend to all of them and make sure they're all on the same like playing field kind of thing. If that makes any sense.
I mean, would you ever think of like incorporating like choreography into your music video? Like, do you have any like original choreo, like kind of like full-fledged like choreography? Choreography. How do you pronounce it?
Choreography.
Choreography,
yeah.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
I actually do have a music video with choreography, but I'm not in it. I'm not a choreographer, and like that's been one of the challenges for me in dance. Like I'm a freestyler at the moment, but I would love to like push myself to do choreography that I could repeat and then teach others so that we could do it together. But yeah, that's definitely something.
Do you have like, I mean, so like what kind of like dance style are you like into, or like do you find yourself, because you did say freestyle, but within that is there like a certain, you know, actual style, you know, kind of like
I would say
dancing, I guess.
It's from me watching, I would say like hip hop and contemporary maybe. Like
I got that vibe from you.
Yeah. Like when you see me move, when you see me talk, and it's just like it comes out.
So in terms of your like personal identity, like in terms of like being like a artist, like which like art form that so like which art form do you think expresses you the most, or like which art form do you think you could like express yourself the most thoroughly?
Music and film, if I'm allowed to do too.
Oh, do you do film too?
Like yeah.
Oh, cool.
So like the music video that I just dropped, or like any music video of mine, I always write it, direct it, and like basically produce it. Like I just put it together.
Speaking of which, is your YouTube channel just your name?
To be honest, I don't know. But if you just if you YouTube Lola Menthol, and all my stuff will come up.
Okay.
Like all my music videos, any like lyric videos.
Okay, cool.
All there.
Yeah. Okay, so like as you were saying before, sorry.
Music and film, 100%. Yeah. Dance and paint are like my fun. And then the like if I was working, it would be music and film. Like that's like I have like for me, I place that responsibility to do it. But if I feel like dancing and I feel like painting, then I'm like, let's just do that for fun.
Have you ever thought, because like one of my like aspirations or dreams or whatever you want to call it is kind of having and kind of like a album kind of like cycle of kind of like, you know, kind of like an album release cycle, having kind of like a like multimedia sort of like album release in terms of like kind of like because you
like
know
music, like visual and audio.
Visual audio in the sense of like, because you know how like, you know, I mean, albums obviously have like arts, but you know, with like most people, the art is kind of like a second, kind of like an afterthought. But like, for me myself, I'm like very visual, and I do appreciate kind of like art, and especially kind of like modern pop art. If you're familiar with like what that is, so like for me, like one of my like dreams or just like kind of like thoughts or like aspirations is having my different artistic friends or my different kind of like painter, kind of like visual artist friends release their interpretation of like the same album art. If you get my
like from listening or from looking at it and then reinterpreting it.
I guess from like, it could be a bit of both, I guess, but kind of like having that just like, cause I think it's like really cool seeing how like different artists kind of like reinterpret a like certain idea or like a certain piece of like art. So like, yeah,
it's a cool experiment. It's also like a good way to get your stuff like familiarized with people.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, have you thought about doing that with kind of like your art, with kind of having like multiple art pieces or creating multiple paintings surrounding kind of like a singular album or like something like that?
Actually, not paintings, but definitely videos.
Okay, yeah.
Like something that is cohesive. So like a concept album, and then each video song on the album having a video that corresponds and
Okay,
like
yeah.
has a start and finish kind of
Yeah.
storyline.
Yeah, nice. So in terms of like music, like are you kind of like mostly kind of like working like on a software to produce music, or are you kind of like a jack of all trades when it comes to like musical instruments?
Lately I've been focused on writing.
Okay.
I do play a couple instruments and
Yeah.
that sometimes helps, and then like I'll find, but I lately I've been collaborating with producers who have,
Okay.
yeah, who
Got
have
it.
them ready made.
Got it.
That
Okay.
that's a lot of
So
fun too.
yeah. Yeah,
Probably my
it's like
favorite
really
thing.
yeah, it's like really interesting because like um I guess because like I've been trying to have my hand in like becoming a producer, and I've realized just how tough it is. Just like, you know, kind of
Just get a
like
beat going.
yeah. I mean that, and just kind of like learning how to kind of like deal with like another person. Because I had a friend who like told me that she didn't really like working with me because she felt that I was kind of like being too heavy handed, and I guess that was my fault. So it's like really, it's
But
like
also, it's like if that's like your style, like everyone works differently.
yeah, that too.
It depends on if people are willing to compromise or just
Yeah,
like it wasn't gonna work out to begin with.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
like I feel like there's certain people that just can't work together.
yeah. That's true.
It's just like that. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't take that personally.
yeah,
It's just a thing.
yeah. I mean, I was just like, it's just like a learning experience, you know, because like it was my first time really working with somebody, but not on my own music, but on their music, and trying to bring out kind of like their music. And I guess it was just like a first time mistake for me with kind of like maybe just like being too heavy handed, maybe. I don't know, but like,
Maybe like
yeah,
involved over like putting more input than them on in regards to their music.
probably something like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something like that, but it is what it is. But just like,
You guys learn from it.
yeah. Do you think that you want to like produce in the future or?
I do produce. I have one song that I've produced that's out. It's from my first EP that came out April of last year, actually.
Okay, cool, cool.
So it's just something that I haven't put the time into
Okay.
in comparison to like writing
Mhm.
like the lyrics and then writing for the music videos or
Yeah.
the other things.
Yeah.
But not
So,
yeah.
so before kind of like the current situation, so like how often would you come down to like New York City to kind of like just like be to just like work on your like creative kind of like processes?
It wasn't a consistent thing. I wouldn't be able to give you like a time, but whenever there would be like short films that I'd be a
Okay.
part of or writing with other artists making music or checking out venues.
Okay, yeah, cool, cool, cool. Have you ever been able to like perform in like New York City, or is that something that you're like slowly working up to?
I've performed mainly in Brooklyn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Which venues?
The first venue that I've ever curated with, like collaborated with, put a show together was Unruly Collective
I've never heard of.
On Cooper Street. I think that's the street.
That sounds like it's in downtown Brooklyn or around Brooklyn Heights. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
something like
I'm not
that.
sure. Yeah.
That was also last year, and
Okay. Cool.
that was in celebration of my first EP.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
And then the latest one that I was actually supposed to have a show April
Oh,
4th. It
oh
was first
man.
live. I know, yeah.
Oh yeah.
First live that's on Central Ave.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's Bushwick. I think it's
Might be
Bushwick.
Bush. It sounds like Bushwick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like Bushwick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the topic of kind of like canceled plans, like I mean, we're like always working on kind of like stuff as a musician, but is there anything that you like had planned besides like the show next week that kind of got like postponed because of like
I was gonna travel a lot. I was planning to like go out and like do some shit,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see. Hopefully that's still like an option for this year, like 2020.
yeah,
But that
yeah,
would have been cool.
yeah,
And work and music video, so like
uh-huh,
we can get together on set. Like who's
yeah,
doing an online I might try to make it work anyway,
yeah,
but yeah, that
yeah,
was also another
yeah.
plan.
I mean, if there's a will, there's a way for sure. Yeah,
Totally, exactly. That's why I'm not losing hope or like I'm not feeling quite down because I just have to like work around it.
yeah, yeah.
So we'll see.
So I mean, talking about like Yonkers, were you like born and raised in Yonkers or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Born and raised Yonkers.
Wow. So like, have you met like any kind of like creative people, kind of like collaborators over like Yonkers from like school or like just like, you
Yeah.
know,
I have
walking
up
around?
until lately, just lately, like
Yeah.
in the past few months, they've
Uh-huh.
just like started popping up since I started putting out my own stuff and then reaching out
Hmm.
to other people.
Hmm.
Um, and I only had like one friend maybe growing
Hmm.
up like in high school or middle school that
Hmm.
also did music, and that
Yeah.
was it. And then now I just like they're popping up everywhere. Like, where the hell are y'all?
Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Wow. So like interesting because like I have like one cousin or one uncle that kind of like lives in like Yonkers, but like I mean, how would you compare Yonkers to like New York City? Because I haven't been there in like years, but like,
Mm.
do you think it's just kind of like, do you consider yourself to be a part of the Bronx in a sense, and not like kind of
Um. We're neighbors. We're neighbors.
you neighbors? Yeah,
We're like
yeah,
neighbors, but
yeah.
Yonkers is definitely like the best of both worlds in the sense that we do
Mm-hmm.
have our densely populated and like downtown areas, but also you can get away and like have trees and water and mountains and stuff
We have trees
sometimes.
too. I mean, we don't have mountains, but like we don't need mountains. That's what the skyscrapers for.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are
climb those
mountains. So
skyscrapers.
yeah, yeah. So like, I guess like one last question I would like to ask you, and if you have anything that you want to say, then that'll be great. But like, so like, what is like one thing that you want to change about yourself as a like artist in general? Like one thing that you know that is kind of like hindering you in a way, like, or like is there something like that in your like life or in your like personal kind of like artistic self that you want to like move out the way?
Huh. Deep. Nice.
Yeah, too deep. Yeah, if
No,
it's
that's
too
not.
deep.
It's not. No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to go deep. What I would like to change, I think. Huh. I do. I'm like a huge fan of like growing and like finding ways to do better.
Hmm.
I think slowing down is actually like one thing that I would like tell myself a lot. So I guess it would be that like having more patience in regards to certain things, or like not thinking too far ahead that I missed the steps in between. That's like a
yeah,
reoccurring thing for me. So
yeah,
it would totally be that in regards
yeah,
to like projects or like anything.
yeah. Yeah, dude, I definitely get that. Just like,
Right?
yeah, looking back at kind of like what I was doing in like college, I guess I was trying to move too fast, which actually hindered my actual kind of like, growth and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So now I feel like I'm trying to make up for that time that I
It's like it's
wasted.
backtracking now. It's like I gotta go
Yeah,
back and like fix that thing that I missed over
exactly.
because I wanted to get here, but I'm here and I didn't do
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
going nowhere fast.
Exactly, exactly. So that I mean that's like definitely just like a general kind of like a life lesson, just like
Absolutely.
learning to be patient, which is kind of like such a hard thing to do because I like the joke that I was born impatient because I was born premature.
Me
So
too,
like,
yo.
wait, really? How many months?
Yeah. 8.
8 months? Wait, 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 wait,
8 months.
wait. Are you serious? Wait, you
I'm
were born?
dead.
Wait, no, no. Wait, were you born
Yes.
in? Wait,
I was
in
supposed to
eight?
be.
Wait, in 8 months, or were you born 8 months premature? Like you were only in the
I
womb
was
for
born
like.
8 months into the pregnancy instead of 9. So I was supposed. My
Oh,
birthday's
okay,
supposed to
okay.
be. Yo, I was like, why is that such like?
No.
I was like, what happened? I was
No,
like,
no. Because I thought you meant that
I
you
was
were
born like a
born.
month in.
Yeah, like a month in. Like you're like a medical like. You're like a medical miracle. Okay, yeah. No, I was born like 7 months into the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're even deeper, bro. Is 8 months really like crazy?
No. 8 months is
That's what
probably
I've been
like
thinking.
yeah, more normal. But like I was like super small because I was born like about like 2 months. I was like 2 months like early, so like I was like super tiny when I was like a little baby. But like yeah, so we
We
were
were
born
ready. We were
impatient.
ready. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
just ready for this shit, yo.
yeah,
We were like, let
exactly.
me get the fuck in
Yeah,
there. Fuck
yeah.
it.
But now we're learning that we have to be patient in order to like be successful, you know, and just like it kills me inside. Like I am probably the most impatient person you've like met, and it's surprising that I could get anything done with people because I'm like super impatient. Like it's amazing.
When I'm baking or like cooking or something, like I'm always checking the oven. I'm like, yo, y'all ready yet or what?
Yeah, I don't know how like people could be born with like patience. I don't know. It's like it's just. I'm just impatient. Yeah, so like, I don't know how people could like really. It's admirable, really. Just like because like now I'm like learning that I have to be patient, but like for people that were born with patience with like a natural certain threshold, God bless them because I couldn't.
Yeah,
like I couldn't.
Everyone's born with a gift or two.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not patient.
Well, there's other things. But it's also something to work on. Like if we didn't really have anything to work on, it'd kind of be like boring.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
So and also like patience is not too bad to work on.
Yeah.
It's like you just gotta like hold ourselves back, just like stand.
Yeah.
Meditation. I try to do like every day. I haven't been on it, but like that totally helps. Just sit and nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
It's quite hard, but
yeah. I mean, on like the next like sunny day, I would love to go outside my lawn and just to like sit down and just like take in the air and stuff, so that I don't go crazy from being inside all day long. But
fresh air is very important. Highly recommend air and sun.
Yes,
Dr. Lola.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Lola.
You're very welcome. Anytime.
Right. So as we're ending, do you have anything else they want to say or like? Any like parting words?
Besides, it was nice talking to you. I just have a lot of stuff on the way. I feel like that's all the time. Yeah. But I would just be ready for it.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, and now's like the perfect time because you know all this time to just like stay inside, really like hone in yourself and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we're going to end off here. So thank you again, Lola Menthol. I should probably ask you, is that your like actual name or is that kind of like an artist name?
Not my actual name, but fairly close.
Okay.
Pretty close.
So why'd you choose kind of like, so I guess Lola is like your actual first name.
No, but Lola's it's pretty close.
Okay. So like what's like the inspiration? Was does it just sound cool and like that's why you chose it, or does it have
the menthol part? Yeah, so Lola was a thing that like people have called me for a while. Oh, okay. And then when I wanted to start putting out music, I'm like, yo, what do I want to go by? But like just Lola was taken, and like that's not original. I was gonna be like lost forever if I just picked Lola. So I was like, what's the second name? And then menthol just sounded cool. It's like minty. Yeah. Kind of like cold, spicy.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a great, that's like a great, like, kind of like reasoning for your name. I like it. It sounds mysterious. It sounds kind of like chic. I don't know, but like,
I gotta find out what this is about. Like, who's that?
Yeah. Awesome.
Totally my essence.
Yeah. All right. So thank you again, Lola Menthol, for like talking with me and just like kind of like sharing, you know, kind of like your like artistic self with like Sounds Like NYC. And I mean, I'm definitely gonna check out your stuff as soon as like we like end this call. But like, thank you so much for kind of like talking with me.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, same here. All right, so this has been Sounds Like NYC, and see you guys in the next one. Peace. And my water just dropped. See you later.
And cut.